it's great to see so many different businesses, etc. here. I think, you know, everyone has spoken about it. A lot of it is about communication in your firm, no matter what size you are. Keep the communication open when it's good and when it's not so good, and manage your communication well. That's what I think is the main thing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks a million. Maybe Alison, if you have any thoughts, just a quick pop again.
Cash flow was something that Chanel brought up, and it was something that we discussed in the panel. Just we touched on it briefly, and just how important that is when you're trying to grow a business. Often when businesses are in growth phase, they suck up too much cash flow, and that's why they fail. They could be profitable on paper. So if you are planning on growing and you do have like a product-based business where you have to invest in stock and raw materials and then give credit to stockists, your cash flow is going to really be compromised. You need to do a lot of forecasts and projections beforehand. Go to your bank manager or to microfinance or someone beforehand, explain what you're trying to do, and make sure that you have enough cash, overdraft facility or loan to get you through that period, because that's the problem, that most businesses don't do that. They're selling lots of stuff, they're profitable, but they don't have the cash to sustain the growth.
Orla, I'm interested in the fact that you feed into policy, and you were talking about this, and it's come up a number of times, the work-life balance and the difficulty around that and the tensions that exist around that. Have you any observation, having listened to people bring it up?
I suppose I'm delighted to have been here today, and I actually found the afternoon session, particularly with Celia and Chanel, just very honest in terms of, and I think it came across from a number of the women today, that we all do struggle in trying to find that balance. And it is individual, and even Chanel would have touched on it there. When her children were younger, she wanted to put the time into the business. She doesn't want to do that anymore. And I think it's to be true to yourself and to listen to yourself and maybe ask yourself that one thing: why am I doing it? Because no matter what the policies are, if the government are giving us free childcare or whatever it is, you have to be true to yourself in terms of where you want to spend your time and what you spend your time doing. And onto the supply and demand and that beautiful economics thing, it is about, like, and it came across from so many speakers today, about that customer. Because if you can't identify what that customer's demand is, and you don't know what their need is, you won't be able to sell into them. And without any sales, you're not going to get that profit margin ultimately.
That'd be very much something, Margaret, that you would have lived over the years.
Absolutely.
Knowing your customer.
Knowing your customer. And I think also using your gut feeling about things when you're trying to make a decision. You can ask mentors and outsiders and bring in consultants, but I think you have to go with how you feel yourself about it.
Carolee, just, you mentioned earlier on, because of the cello and how important that has been in your life, and then the yoga. Do you find that you can go to those places for comfort and for time to kind of, I suppose, regroup when you have to go back into business again?
Do you want the real answer?
Yes.
Or do you want
we're being real today.
there are definitely supports that you can tap into. But like what you said, I always go with my gut. And there's been 2 decisions I've made since I launched Wicked Whole Foods where I didn't go with my gut instinct, and I listened to my advisors and I listened to people that I trusted, and they were the 2 almost breaking decisions that I made as the company. So I'm a huge believer in going on your gut instinct, but I have one motto that I say every day, and it's leap and the net will appear.
Gosh, whoa.
Hi ladies, Catherine, this question is for you. You mentioned the importance of having mentors. So how would you go about choosing and finding the right mentors, external, and I suppose internal is pretty straightforward, but externally?
Well, as you say, internal is kind of straightforward. You can look around you and see who's around you. But I think you can do the same external as well. You know, you can look around you and be bold about it, you know, and go up and tell people, I've seen you, I've watched you, I've seen what you've done. Maybe somebody locally, maybe somebody, a partner of somebody that you know, and that you'd like just to have a conversation with them every now and then. And I think it's just take that bold step, and in a very nice way, as we always do, is just say that you would really look forward to meeting with them. You're looking for some guidance, you're looking for somebody to critique you know, and you don't want to hear everything is great. You want people to be able to say, no, you should be going this way. Why are you thinking that way? So you need somebody who won't just plamass you and say, yeah, you're great. You want somebody who will put it up to to you. So I think be bold, you know, and if you've seen somebody who you admire, tell them why you admire them. And, you know, you were wondering, would you be able to have a coffee with them every now and then? And it's just a coffee.
I just want to say today was just fantastic. I've been to many events over the last few years since I started my own business. And you group of ladies were just absolutely fantastic. I think Celia, I love you. You're just Your honesty today was just brilliant.
Yeah.
And on that, you know, my own business, I'm really busy. I do breast care for women who've had breast cancer surgery. And, you know, often there's a day between kids and everything else, and life and work and balance and all that. And I look at my Facebook page and I look at Celia and I look at the amount of things that she's done in a week. And I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. you're actually a mentor to me without you even knowing it. So, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
I suppose two things probably in terms of my area in digital and social. Time and having a plan. Time in the sense that there is an investment in digital and social. It is going to take time to build up. So, you know, don't be expecting quick gains. It will take time, but it is worthwhile. The benefits far outweigh the time investment. And secondly, make sure you have a plan. Interestingly, over 3,000 businesses were surveyed, SMEs were surveyed in Europe a couple of years ago, all of them claiming to be active in social media marketing and digital marketing, but only 8 of them had a documented strategy. So that's key to it. What gets measured gets done. So try and create a plan. That would be my advice.
Good advice. Have you heard anything today, Mary? Because you were, in a way, you're at that sort of pivotal stage as well, where you're trying to decide, do I keep my business at this level? Do I begin to grow it or whatever? So have you heard anything today that's impressed you about your decision?
I think, like when I started with just myself, to move on to now employing 7 staff, and I'm looking for more as well. Anybody knows seamstress, please come to me. But I have learned from listening to these fabulous ladies that like the fear is always there, you know, but I think to learn to focus on your strengths rather than your weaknesses, because your weak points, there's somebody out there better that can help you with that. So I think focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses.
Yeah, I like that. Stephanie, again, you're at a stage where you're beginning to think about, well, where am I going to go? And you spoke very strongly, and it was quite impressive about the value of education and stepping away from, particularly in a family situation, to get new information and new ideas as well. Anything happened today for you that you feel, well, that's going to inspire me?
Well, the experience of everything, first of all, meeting inspirational people like Chanel and the rest of the ladies here and Celia. Education, yes, to a point, is extremely important in anybody's day of life, or your job, or your experience, whatever. But it's people who you surround yourself with as well are crucial to your success, whether it be in a business or your home life or anything like that. Today, I don't really know. Education is your education, but like some people have, like my dad started a business from absolutely nothing. We nearly went broke twice. Last year, the year before last, we had a deficit of €500,000. This year, we've gone over again €1 million profit. We're turning 10 million again. Do you know? So I mean, like, I'll just go back to just to revert your question slightly. Chanel said, you know, being afraid of your failure is going to drive you to be successful. Not running from it, but that's going to if that gives you the motivation in your belly to get up and go and do it, and you have to fail to succeed. Like like your business has to fail. Hopefully it won't. Your business has to fail for you to get up and go and get hungry again and fight back and go on and succeed again. If that means by ending one business, going back to education, learning something new, improving your new skills, meeting new people. It could be, new ideas. Even for someone to just say something to you about your idea and say, oh, that's, maybe that's the road I should be going down. Things like that are probably, that's going to bring your business forward to be successful.
Really good advice. I just love the notion that we're kind of embracing failure here at a great rate here today, but it's absolutely
No,
true.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
And Celia, it's something that you spoke about so movingly as well in terms of failure and the value of it and the passion that it engendered. I mean, the emotion was so real there. You know, that failure didn't break you. It made you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
How does it feel to hear today that you're a role model and that you're a mentor and an inspiration?
Well, I never thought that at 15 years of age, because you spoke about education there. I always felt that was a huge, and still is to me. I didn't get any secondary education. I didn't get any university education. I'm self-taught, really. So I think I've always held that as a barrier, a bit ashamed at times. But I'm very proud today. Oh, thank you.
And so you should be,
Yeah.
and so say all of us. And just as a panel, you were absolutely amazing, and it was wonderful to hear all of your stories. But now we have come indeed to the end of the day. It's lovely now, a great pleasure indeed to call upon Pádraig McElwee, who is the head of enterprise in the local enterprise office in Clare, to formally close the evening. Pádraig, you'll find your way there. There we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the surprise guest that's not listed on your token. And as you can see, I'm not female. But I'm glad to say I survived today. It was, to be honest, for me, sitting in the room, it was very inspirational to hear the stories. And, you know, I think Sienna touched on it. It came from the heart. It was true. It is what it is in real life. And that's good to hear. It wasn't just platitudes. It was the ups and downs. So, well done. I just want to formally do all the thank yous, I think, to our panelist speakers and all our guests today. To Sienna for keeping the day running, professional as ever.